Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Danish, ID 49310, and I am going to present leadership complexity theory. Let us first understand what is complexity theory. It is a set of mathematical models to understand the complex systems. So in simple words, what is a complex system? It is a network of things that are connected and do interesting things. There are a number of theoretical frameworks that are considered part of it, and there are a number of contributions to the study of complex systems, but basically it has originated from physics and maths, and Descartes was the one who laid the foundation for this theory, and later on in the social sciences, from the organizational context, it was formulated by Yuval Bain. So as you can see, there is a simple examples given. For example, human brain. It is composed of cells, and it is like a city. It is a complex system. Human brain, it has millions and billions of neurons, and the neurons are interacting in a very organized manner. If you take few of the neurons, the remaining neurons will take the space of that neurons, and then they are going to interact in a way that it is going to convert it into thoughts, feelings. So the system of the human brain, it consists of many elements that are interacting and forming an emergent behavior. For example, beehives, 20,000 to 70,000 beehives, they are interacting. If you take some bees, it will still continue to function. It is maintaining a temperature which is independent of the temperature outside of its beehive, the temperature of the environment. But if you take the example of a watch, it is not a complex system because it is not self-organizing itself. If you take out a wheel, if you take out a card, then it is not going to function anymore. For example, ants. You see an ant, you think of it, oh, it does not have a brain, it does not have eyes, and you think it is a stupid being. But if you see it and you analyze it, you will see that it is a very complex being. It has gatherers, it has bosses, and it has servants, and it is interacting in a very organized manner. See a flock of birds, they are flying in a very organized manner. They are not hitting each other, nor they are going very far away from each other. So it is a complex system, but apparently if you see, you do not find it to be complex. Similarly, a tree. So there could be many examples of complex systems. So this is the basic concept of complexity theory. As we understood in the first slide, that it has a number of assumptions. It is a self-organization. It is a process that when a system grows, if it is going to self-organize, it does not just get bigger, it gets more complex, and that complexity is derived from the system becoming more sophisticated and tightly integrated together, so that each part brings what it needs to sustain itself. It creates conditions to sustain the whole. As a result, the system grows stable and resilient. Now let's look at the leadership complexity theory. As the definition is given, you see, there was an era when organizations were functioning in a very bureaucratic manner, in a very mechanistic manner. We had the agriculture area, then we had the industrial area, but now we are in the knowledge area, and the organization is facing dynamics at every front. So you cannot go for a railway track approach, a railway track thinking. For example, you set the goals and you make a policy of how to achieve that goal. For example, Yahoo, for example, Kodak. You no more use Yahoo as a search tool. You use Google because they come up with a different style, a pomegranate thinking. A one application can make the whole industry obsolete. So the organizations have become complex systems. So what is a complex system? A system is complex if its relationships cannot be fully explained by merely analyzing its components because they are dynamic and changing. So this leads us to understand that complex leader is a process of fostering conditions in which new behaviors and direction of the organization emerge through dynamic and regular interactions. They're not trying to control the behaviors. They're not trying to control what happens within the organization, but they're trying to influence organizational behavior through the management of those networks and interactions. That's why we see that the first guiding principle is fostering network connections, because a strong network is a source of fitness for an organization, as it provides fitness to the technologies upon which it is based, as well as to the participating systems. There is no one leader. Leadership comes through the system. Then the second point is bottom up network construction, because this will be a catalyst when you are delegating, when you are becoming a catalyst for resource allocation, for encouragement, for bringing up autonomy and delegating decision making powers and trust to the staff. It's when you become a leadership tag, because the leaders, they rally people around the ideals of the organization. They're promoting an idea and an attitude. They're not trying to closely control or them to evaluate and adjust, but for example, they're trying to send workers to conferences or other idea generating environments in search of new insights and opportunities. The purpose here is to create a space of organized disorder that brings dynamic activity, emergent behavior, creative surprises at multiple locations of the system. Leads to systematic thinking, because it challenges leader to be continually aware of the interactive dynamics and multiple levels of engagement. So you have to, the organization has to be able to see the broader patterns of events and understand the network of events that have caused a problem. So if you are not able to grasp these points, we are going to take an example, and then we are going to understand it a lot better. So the number one concept we found out was what is emergent behavior. It describes small things forming bigger things that have different properties than the sum of their parts. That many things interact under a certain set of rules, creating something above and beyond themselves. Example, atoms forms molecules, molecules form proteins, proteins make up cells, cells make up organs, organs form individuals, individuals form society. So something is more than the sum of its part. To further understand it, I have taken an example of healthcare. Now, you see what drives complexity. You see what drives complexity. You have to understand this. If you understand this example, you will understand what I have just aforementioned. You see, there is an organization and it has a number of ideas, but if there is an order response to it, if there is a bureaucratic operational response of it, and when managers see that there is a conflict because there are emerging ideas within the organization, then they are going to wipe it off. But what is the requirement of complexity? Complexity will drive adaptive behavior. Complexity requires adaptive response in the face of such complexity, because complexity will drive enabling process between groups, individuals, organizations, and there will be a need to innovate. The in complexity environment is shifting, it is driving change. But that change is going to turn against systems, and the order response is that that change is going to be wiped off because it's too challenging. Your example, if you come up with new ideas and you find it to be challenging, you say, oh, let it go. You're not going to follow that idea. So you are eliminating that dynamic by bringing in a bureaucratic response against complex adaptive response that will going to help you in the long run. So if we see the world, we see a lot of conflicting ideas. You just turn on the media, you're going to see a lot of conflicts. So you need something else. With that conflicting, you need something which is connecting. We have to decide what is connecting. If we can use the space between conflicting and connecting and adapt, to that circumstances, then we are going to build a future viability. Because innovation will work if we can push adaptability with it. This doesn't happen at the lower level. You see CEOs who try to be entrepreneur, who try to bring innovation, their ideas also get hit to the brick wall and come back. So it is a natural part of the process. Now we further put in that example to a healthcare system. You see, healthcare system is a complex system because the agents that make up the healthcare system, they are intelligent, they learn, they experiment, they gain experience, they change behavior accordingly. So the behaviors are inherent within the system and they change over time, they are self-organizing, they emerge rather than being designed, and they such emergent behavior. You see, previously we have a healthcare system that was based on religion. Then we had a healthcare system that was based on medical practice, and we had a different. We are changing the control of that healthcare system, and I'm going to propose from one study that what could be done for it. So systems behaviors are often unpredictable, uncontrollable. No one is in charge, and it's not like an equilibrium. It appears to be random. For example, I propose here from one of the studies and searches on the existing literature that what could be the implications of complex adaptive systems. For example, of healthcare. Now you see, we propose an idea that we can only influence patients and not control them. So we need to empower patients, motivate patients, enable patients, because it is their life, their health, their money, their decision. They will stay healthy, they will be energetic, they need the information, the understanding, the management and access to tools. But other stakeholders are going to react to that empowerment because a lot of people have invested to it, not just the doctors and nurses, and they will say that because they are going to have a loss of control and patients are not capable of managing their own health, and what will be the outcomes of the health. Because you see, 40% is lifestyle, 20% is environment, 30% is genetic, it's only 10% that is managed by the healthcare. So the organizations or the people have invested assuming that the current business model is going to continue, and there is going to be a lot of conflict of it about it. And so we need a complexity adaptive approach to it. And what is complexity adaptive approach? You see, there is a technical approach, there is an adaptive approach. Adaptive approach is where the problem is unclear, the solution is unknown, and the locus of work is people. So adaptive work lies in changing people's behaviors, mindsets, beliefs, or value systems. Whereas in technical work is about tools, methods, processes, or equipment we know how to use and to which purpose, for example, management skills. But if you see, there is a mistake and for example, climate change. So there are technical fixes which require adaptive changes. If we only approach things as if we know them, then it's likely that we won't be able to make any progress. And there are a lot of times when the organizations are approaching things in a wrong way. And if the approach is the wrong, they're not going to change, they're not going to get the innovation that is required. So learning is required in a more connected way through creativity, meaningful relations, and as part of a wider system. Now in these two slides, I've attempted to bring some other theories that are interconnected with the complexity theory. And as you know, the traditional, as I've told you, the traditional bureaucratic mindset is getting obsolete, but still it is one way of approaching, but it has a limited effectiveness with the rise of the knowledge area and the complexities of the modern world that we are facing because of the forces of globalization, technology, deregulation, democratization, etc. So complexity leadership has been approached from a variety of directions. For example, McIntosh and McLean, they propose that there is a three-stage sequence of activities that will support effective transformation, which he says that the organization tries to reconfigure the rules and condition, provide the conditioning, and then try to shift it from its current equilibrium. You see, it is named as dissipative processes. You see, if you burn the oil, it's not going to release anything at one point in time, but when it reaches a point, it's going to release energy. So that's why it is a dissipative process where leaders are trying to create the conditions to reach non-equilibrium, and then so steps are taken to. So basically these are all just theories with a little bit of differences or changes. For example, he also framed an organization leadership theory and tested hypotheses about leadership and the relationships between it and the organization's social processes, and framed used this framework to measure relationship effectiveness with complex socio-technical systems. Then we have the adaptive systems, and then we have the other theories, and we have the administrative leadership, which concerns the actions of those in formal managerial roles to coordinate and plan activities to achieve prescribed outcomes. We have the enable leadership that concern efforts to catalyze the conditions in which adaptive leadership can thrive and to manage the entanglement between bureaucratic and emergent functions of the organization. So basically these are the frameworks that comprise the literature of complexity theory. So last we go to the list of the advantages and disadvantages. Complexity leadership complexity styles, which is very self-explanatory as given in the slides. Leadership style that can be practiced by anyone. It is a leader, allows for a deeper level of leadership, thinking outside the box, and etc. And the rest of the slides are post-presentation reference lists from 15 journal articles, and this is the end of the presentation.